Greetings, art students. Today we're going to learn how to draw, our first lesson. So we are going to be doing a continuous blind contour line drawing from a portrait. And I have put several portraits in our Google Classroom for you to choose from, so you can pick out one that you like today. It is a fair use image because it's over 50 years old. I practiced one before and it came out really weird, so don't worry if yours ends up like this. It is of this image here, and it's by a man named Albrecht Dürer, and he was one of my favorite artists when I was a child. So he is a really good artist to look at when you're learning. Any of the Renaissance artists drew a lot. They would draw out their plans first, and then they would paint them, or they'd put them out as a mural or a fresco on a wall. So they would do what they called cartoons, which are basically drawings. All right, so let me begin and let me explain. It's a blind, meaning I am not going to look at this, and neither are you. It's because we're going to suspend judgment. We want to learn how to be very gentle and kind to ourselves. We want to learn how to slow down and regard drawing almost like an act of meditation. And for those of you who have trouble focusing, like I often do, I'll show you some strategies. I like to use my non-drawing finger to trace along with me. So what you're doing is you're training your eye and your pen to work together. The nice thing about using a pen is that you can't erase, and sometimes people feel like they have to go into like a sketchy thing. So we want to imagine that our pen is like a car, and we're going to get in and we're going to drive, and we're not going to stop and put the brakes on at all. We might need to slow down to see where we're going, but we're not going to lift up our pencil from the paper the entire time. So we're actually going to end up with one line. Okay, so I'm going to do my best, and you can watch me here. I can't see what I'm doing, but I will look for a minute just to see where I have to put my pen. And I accidentally did look the first time for a second, but just because I got a little confused, I thought maybe I was drawing on the wall. Okay, so they say starting at the eyes is a good place to start. So that's where I will begin today, and I will talk through this so you can follow along with me. I will spend a lot of detail around the eye at first, just so you can get a sense of the pacing of how long you should be doing this, like really slow down. But due to the fact that you might fall asleep watching me, I will probably speed it up a little bit so for time's sake. And I will let you know when. So I'm going to start with this eye, and I notice that if I do a crisscross across my page, kind of like this, the eye is kind of in the middle but a little higher up. So my paper eye is about here. So I'm going to start here. So you want to look so you know where you're putting your pencil on the page. Okay, so I'm going to start here, and I'm going to do detail on the eye. So I'm going to start with his pupil, and then I'm going to scroll around to the iris. And then I notice his lid is kind of coming over that a little bit, and it curves around. And there's a little bit of an overhang here of his eyebrow. So then I'm going to scoot back to the outside edge of his eyeball, and hopefully I'm meeting up the edge of this lower lid is meeting up the upper lid. I'm going to come back again, trying to get the three-dimensionality of the lower lid. So I'm going up here to the eyebrow, and I wanted to kind of draw that sort of shape in here. It seems to trail off a little bit, and then I'm going to scoot over. Now I'm drawing the edge of this part of his eyebrow up to the other part of his eyebrow and coming back down. And there's a bit of an overlap here of his upper lid, and it kind of indents there as it goes, kind of like the top of his lid. Here's the edge of his eyeball, and I'm going to draw his iris and his pupil, come back around to the lower part of his lid. All right, now I'm going to go to the edge of his nose here, back up, come down his nose. There's his, I'm starting to speed it up a little bit. This is the edge of his nostrils, and wrap that around, coming back down again to where his philtrum is, where his lip is. And he's got a mustache, and I'm going to come down to here. Now I'm going to kind of draw this a little dimple thing, scooting around to the lower part of his lip, the bow part, where the lips come together. And then the lower lid, the outside edge of the lower lid. All right, and then I'm going back to where his chin is. And I'm going to try to connect, because I think I didn't draw his cheekbone. So I'm going to try to draw his cheekbone now. Go back to his eyebrow, his forehead here. And I'm just going to draw sort of the outside edge of his head and it kind of turns this away. Now it's going down, 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 turning in, it's going back in again. There's his edge of his neck, and his ear is here. Here's his earlobe, and the inner part of his ear. And it's a beautiful shape. So much fun to draw. I'm coming back around. I'm going to just sort of draw a little bit of his hair in here, trying to draw in the forehead and come back to here. Now I think I may not have finished his jaw, so I'm going to circle around his wonderful curls. I'm just going to kind of do a little gestury thing, and I'm hoping that I'm not totally lost. I don't really know. I'm just trying to feel my way. I think I'm at his neck right now. I don't know. And again, I can't see what I'm doing. The edge of his ear, his jaw is here, and then it goes back down to where his beard is. And here's the edge of his beard here, and his neck is here, and his shirt. And there's his shirt. I'm going to stop now, and yeah, it looks a little weird. How come I can't get this to look cool? But I think I still don't care because it's an experience. All right, and if you go to my website, which is on our, I have it shared. You'll see I do a lot of portrait work. I'm good at it, so I can't judge this. I just have to have a good chuckle. But let's just take a look. So if we look at this piece, you can see his eyes are here, and there's his nose and his mouth and his chin. And then I thought I was drawing his head and his ear, but here is where I got lost when I was trying to draw his the rest of his hair and his jaw and everything and his neck and all. But you know what? These both did not come out well. They came out really weird, but the main thing is that I was exploring and that I'm coordinating my eye and my hand together. In another video or in class, I will demonstrate how we can look a little bit so we can stop and look when we get lost. So if Miss Mendoza has been drawing longer than you've been alive, hers look this funny, then feel free to do the same thing. But if you notice, they're very intense. Like I looked really hard and I enjoyed this. So those of you who are like kind of like me and you're a little spacey, just take your hand and trace it. And I think you'll find it's just so much easier. And I hope you really enjoy this and just be confident that you are learning and you are developing your brain and your eye-hand coordination. You just have to trust me on this one. So have fun.